All right, welcome to day 29, cognitive drawing. Okay, so we have a muscle memory page. Now this will be the last one we do of muscle memory because I think you guys could probably do this on your own if you want to just, if you're in school and you want to just fill up a sketchbook while you're listening to a lecture, you can do this sort of exercise, And the more you do this kind of thing, obviously the more you just draw in general, it builds up your muscle memory. So go ahead and just do this, fill up this page with these muscle memory exercises. Think about pressure, pin pressure, push down real hard, real light, hard, light, hard, light. And you will get better and better at being able to control the kind of lines that come out of your pencil. This is a little bit different because it's a hard edge line. We got our soft line, light, pressure, hard, and then light as we're doing this curve. And it's kind of nice to have a slightly dull pencil for some of these exercises because you can get those lines to be really nice and fat on the middle part where it's supposed to be a lot of pressure, and then lighter on the edges, and then just as straight of a line as you can. Light, hard, light. Okay, sorry, let's do this again. So I like to start at where the line abruptly ends first, and just kind of fade it as it goes out. It's kind of hard to get that fade to be just right. That's why we practice this kind of thing. My desk is a little rough too, and this paper is real thin, so it's kind of causing some blemishes on my lines. You can also try to go from light to dark. I'm finding that there's a little more control in that. So something to work on. There's also the opposite angle. Now, most people would suggest in the art world to rotate your paper, and so you can keep that same line with your hand. But I will tell you, but I will say the opposite. For this lesson, try to imitate that line, going the opposite that is natural for your hand. You should be able to do it. You don't have to always use the natural strokes of your hand, and this builds a different kind of muscle memory. Being able to do that consistent, smooth line. You're doing amazing. As long as you fill this up, you are doing amazing because it just takes practice, right? There's a little quote at the bottom of this page. Faith is taking the first step even though you don't see the whole staircase. That's by Martin Luther King. Okay, now let's draw the skeleton again without looking at reference. Oh my goodness, do we have to do this again? I know what you're thinking. Yes, we do. Let's try this again. It's going to be as painful for me as it is for you. So I'm going to still start with the same things. I'm going to start with the egg shape. Go down here. I'm going to work on this pelvis shape. And then I know the bone goes right there. So we're going to just put that in really loosely as our guide. I apologize, guys. My camera ran out of batteries right there, and I didn't realize I wasn't recording. So some of the things we missed was me realizing that my rib cage was wrong from the last time I drew it, and so keeping this kind of nice little swooping angle in there, as well as as well as these, just kind of like that. At least that's what I kind of remember. Let me just shade these in so I know they're in the background. I remember it was something like that anyway. At least it's closer than before. And then also this kind of bowl shape. I remember that from last time. There was this kind of heart-shaped cutout here, and the spine just sunk right into the pelvis like that. There was some more holes down here. I don't quite remember how those go, but regardless, I know it's a lot better than we were last time. We also drew these legs bones and how wide these bones are, because they kind of take up the whole shape of the knee at this point. And then there's that, and then down here, these parts come out and they take up the whole shape of the leg down here as well, because these bones protrude. Okay, so those are things that I was realizing from memory this time around. Let's see, we got to do I kind of forget. I remember this. I know that the joints kind of sunk into that ball joint area there. Somehow it kind of ties into the collarbones, and then this is the shoulder blade bone, and then we have this kind of twisting bone, and then this big knee bone. It just really widens out. You see that. Something kind of like that. All right, well, I know I'm a lot better at this than the very first time I drew it. So there's some big improvements I know, even though I haven't looked at the reference yet. Down here it says, once you are finished, flip back and test how you did. I'm gonna get this. Now in the book, you can just flip back and forth between it, as I've made it all line up. So these are closer. They're not quite right. The angle is a little bit different than how I drew it, but it's much better than the first time around. I have this rib cage kind of coming a little wider, and this collarbone is a little off. Shoulder blade, I mean, and the way it connects there. But, you know, I feel like this is a lot closer than it was last time. We focused on these places where the bones protruded, and I think that really was helpful. This is sticking out way unnaturally. It should be going like that, apparently. Good. Good. This is close. There's some obviously like real subtlety, weird little subtleties here that are not really right, but man, we've made some improvement. Okay, so feel free to flip back and forth and keep refining this skeleton, making those improvements, but hopefully you retained some things from yesterday and brought them over today as you redrew this skeleton again. And this is a good example of the testing effect, obviously, just like all the cognitive drawing worksheets. And so there we go. Once again, feel free to go back in and correct some of these mistakes. Right here, I see some pretty big mistakes that I would like to correct on my own on the bottom of this rib cage. I don't know if I've ever thought about these back ribs here, like these little tiny ribs sticking out, how they stick out, and the angle. So that's a new one for me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed our study of the skeleton. We're going to move on now, and we're going to start working on the actual pelvis muscles tomorrow. Alrighty, see you tomorrow.